Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and today we're talking about the Vision, Thunderstrike, Quasar, Namora, Makkari, Iron Man, and Captain Universe, aka Steve Rogers, as they face off against Mordred the Evil, the notorious relative of King Arthur and Morgan Le Fay. But before we get into all that, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and leave us a comment. That helps us out with the YouTube algorithm, but also we love hearing from you guys. We've got an awesome community here, and it's all thanks to you. So thank you so much for being here. So, all that said, let's dive in. The prologue to today's story takes place in Camelot centuries ago. The Mordred of Earth K was indeed the son of King Arthur, but his mother was not Morgan Le Fay. Just as it is in the actual Marvel Universe, in our game world, Mordred's true mother is actually the sister of Morgan Le Fay, a supervillainess known as Morgawise. Despite this fact, Mordred was raised in Camelot, and his father loved him. But a time traveler named Kang the Conqueror did away with Merlin the Wizard, taking his place and poisoning the mind of Mordred, turning him against his own father. An act which ultimately ended Camelot, took the life of Mordred, and while Arthur recovered physically on a secret island west of Britain, emotionally, Arthur never recovered. The battle between father and son was the worst day of Arthur's life. Centuries later, a villain named Necromon resurrected Mordred and had him battle Captain Britain and the current Black Knight, Dane Whitman. Eventually, Necromon was defeated and Mordred was banished into the Outer Dark. The Outer Dark is one of many extra dimensional realms ruled by the Hay-Muvor kings and part of the splinter realms said to be beyond the universe itself. Recently, the Shaper of Worlds destroyed all government property, and as a result, Excalibur was briefly destroyed, and multiple dimensions were bridged together for a brief time. Necromon returned to Britain, where he attacked King Arthur and Wolverine. And while the heroes were distracted by that, Arthur's son Mordred returned as well. While Mordred searched for the legendary Book of Evil known as the Darkhold, the heroes dealt with the world's various problems and defeated Necromon. During the many recent trials and tribulations, Doctor Strange and the Juggernaut both had their powers consumed by the Upside Down Man. So, for the first time in a long time, Doctor Strange was rendered powerless. But from the ruins, a new world arose from the ashes, and it's a new Camelot of sorts, which brings us to the main plot of today's game session. High above the surface of the now high-tech Earth, there floats a space station, and at the center of it all is the new round table. And on this particular day, the heroes sitting around it are Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, Makkari, the Eternal, Namora, Queen of Poseidonus, Quasar, aka Wendell Vaughn, Thunderstrike, aka Eric Masterson, The Vision, aka Victor Shade, and of course, King Arthur, who is holding court. The round table is gathered for one of its first official meetings when they are interrupted by a telepathic distress signal from Wong, caretaker the Sanctum Sanctorum. Wong hurriedly reports that Mordred has not only returned, but has breached the sanctum, seeking the Darkhold, a book of unspeakable power hidden by the now depowered Doctor Strange. Wong's message cuts off abruptly, hinting at danger. Without a moment's hesitation, the Vision, with his connection to global data networks, picks up disturbances emanating from New York City, corroborated by Iron Man's satellites detecting an unnatural energy spike. Makkari the Eternal flies down to New York at breakneck speed, then uses his ability to run faster than the speed of light. His reconnaissance confirms a magical barrier now surrounds the sanctum, pulsing with Darkhold energy. Just as fast as he left, Makkari returns and reports this to his fellow Knights of the Round Table. Arthur says this is their first test. Secure the Darkhold before Mordred uses it to undo their restored world. The Darkhold's power could corrupt Earth K's fragile recovery, enslaving its people to Mordred's will, or summoning Chthon, the book's demonic creator. The Round Table's reputation as Earth's new protectors is also on the line. Failure could undermine Arthur's reign before it even begins. So the heroes waste no time. The night sky over New York burns with a violet glow, casting eerie shadows across Bleecker Street. In the gleaming cockpit of a Quinjet, King Arthur gripped Excalibur, its blue crystal blade pulsing faintly as if sensing the darkness ahead. Wong's telepathic cry still echoed in their minds. Mordred has invaded the Sanctum Sanctorum and he seeks the Darkhold. Stop him. The plea had cut off in a scream, and now the Quinjet roared towards its source. Iron Man's heads-up display flared with readings as the sanctum came into view. A Gothic mansion swallowed by a dome of black-violet energy, its surface crawling with runes that pulsed like heartbeats. That's no ordinary shield, Tony muttered, fingers dancing across the controls. Darkhold magic amped up to 11. The Quinjet touched down with a hiss in the empty street, tires crunching on cracked pavement. Civilians had fled, leaving an unnatural silence broken only by the barrier's low hum. Arthur stepped out, his cape snapping in the wind, and he raised his hand. My friends, Mordred is my son, but he's also extremely dangerous. Proceed with utmost caution. Thunderstrike swung his hammer, and a bolt of Asgardian lightning arced into the runes. The impact rang like a cathedral bell, but the barrier only flickered, its energy surging brighter. Makkari blurred into motion, circling the dome in a heartbeat, his speed a streak of red and silver. He pounded weak points, fists hammering faster than sound, but each hit triggered a pulse of dark energy that sent him skidding back, boots sparking on asphalt. It's alive, he called, dodging another bolt. Vision floated forwards, his body phasing to a ghostly blur. He reached into the dome, but tendrils of shadow wrapped around his arm, forcing him to pull back, his glowing yellow eyes narrowing. It resists intangibility, he said. Captain Universe stepped up, thrusting his shield forward, cosmic energy pouring out of it like a neon wave. The barrier hissed, runes flaring, but held firm, retaliating with a blast rocked Steve Rogers back, his boots digging trenches into the pavement. Quasar joined them, quantum bands blazing. He wove a lattice of light, trying to unravel the dome's mystic threads. The air crackled as his energy clashed with the Darkholds, but the barrier adapted, its runes shifting like a living puzzle. Iron Man's armor whirred, nanites swarming from his gauntlets. He fired a stream of reprogrammed nanites, their microscopic forms burrowing into the dome's surface. Sparks flew as the barrier fought back, frying half the swarm in a burst of violet fire. Tony cursed, recalibrating on the fly. This thing's tougher than Ultron's ego, he said. When Tony mentioned Ultron, it gave Arthur an idea. A slight smirk danced at the corner of his bearded mouth. Then we cross the streams, Arthur said. Together, the heroes all fire at the same spot at the same time with their various ranged attacks. Thunderstrike's lightning, Iron Man's repulsor blasts, Vision's solar blasts, etc. They struck as one, a symphony of power that shook the street. The barrier screamed, runes shattering like glass, and the dome collapsed in a cascade of dark light. And the Sanctum Sanctorum loomed before the round table, its Gothic facade twisted unnaturally, windows glaring like eyes, the door a jagged maw. King Arthur tightened his grip on Excalibur, its blue crystal blade humming with purpose. "Stay sharp, knights," he said, his voice a beacon in the eerie silence of Bleecker Street. Namora kicked down the door, splintering it into 1,000 shards that vanished into the shadows. The round table stepped into a foyer that was not a foyer. The walls breathed. Stone rippled like flesh, and the floor tilted, gravity lurching sideways. Makkari skidded, catching himself against a wall that pulsed under his touch. "This place is alive," he shouted, voice echoing in the wrong direction. Iron Man's sensors flickered, overwhelmed. "It's like the whole place has gotten drunk on sorcery," Tony quipped, jets stabilizing him as the ceiling became the floor. The sanctum's halls warped around them, doors vanishing, staircases spiraling into voids. A chandelier crashed upwards, defying gravity, and the vision phased through it unscathed. "The Darkhold's influence," he said, voice calm but urgent, "it reshapes reality." Before they could regroup, pages torn free from nowhere, black inky sheets of the Darkhold itself swirled into humanoid shapes. Eldritch wraiths, spawned from the book's cursed words, lunged with claws of shadow and eyes like burning coals. Namora met the first wraith head on, her fist smashing through its chest, ink splattering like blood. Another clawed her back, but she roared, hurling it into a wall that swallowed it whole. Thunderstrike swung his hammer, lightning arcing to blast 3 wraiths into smoky wisps, their screeches shaking the air. Makkari wove through a dozen, his speed a red and silver storm, toppling them before they could even strike. But more pages fluttered, forming new wraiths, faster than they fell, their claws raking at the heroes with relentless hunger. The hall flipped, gravity inverting with a sickening lurch. The round table heroes tumbled towards what was now the ceiling, chandeliers like spiked traps. Quasar's bands flared, weaving a golden platform to catch Namora and Thunderstrike. Captain Universe leaped, his cosmic strength propelling him to smash a wraith midair. Iron Man's jets roared, keeping him aloft, his repulsors blasting wraiths into inky fragments. "Keep moving," Tony yelled, dodging a claw that barely missed his armor. Vision, immune to gravity's whims, floated to Arthur's side. "The Sanctum's core lies ahead," he said, pointing to a pulsing red light down a twisting corridor. Arthur nodded, Excalibur raised. "Then let's end this." But the wraiths surged, a tide of claws and teeth, and the walls shifted again, splitting the team. Makkari grabbed Quasar, speeding through a closing gap, while Namora and Thunderstrike held the line, fists and hammer pounding. The sanctum groaned as if laughing, and the red light pulsed brighter. Mordred was close. The heroes of the Round Table pressed deeper. The halls of the Sanctum Sanctorum were a maze of twisting stone and shadow. Gravity righted itself with a lurch, dropping the heroes onto a blood-red floor that pulsed beneath their feet. Captain Universe steadied his shield, cosmic light flaring. Iron Man's armor hummed, nanites patching claw marks from the wraiths. Makkari blurred ahead, scouting, while Namora and Thunderstrike smashed through the last of the Darkhold's inky specters, their fists and hammer a relentless storm. Quasar's bands glowed, weaving barriers against falling debris, and Vision's gaze pierced the darkness, guiding them towards a crimson glow at the corridor's end. The team burst into a vast chamber, its walls carved with runes that bled black ichor. A floating altar hung in a void of swirling dead stars, and atop it stood Mordred, his dark robes tattered and his eyes blazing like twin furnaces. The Darkhold hovered before him, its pages writhing like living snakes, radiating a sickly purple light. He clutched a jagged black blade, its edge humming with cursed energy. "You're too late," he sneered, voice echoing with venom. "This world will bow to me." Arthur froze, Excalibur trembling in his grip. Mordred, his son, his deepest wound. The memory of their final battle in Camelot, swords clashing as Camelot burned, tore through him. It was the worst day of his life, the day Arthur lost everything. "Mordred," Arthur whispered, voice breaking, "I will not fight you again." Arthur stepped back, lowering his blade, eyes glistening with unshed tears. The heroes of the round exchanged glances, their resolve hardening. Then this was their fight now. Namora charged first, a tidal wave of Atlantean rage, her fists aimed at Mordred's chest. He flicked a hand, and a wave of Darkhold energy hurled her back, cracking her into a wall. Thunderstrike roared, hammer swinging, unleashing a bolt of lightning that lit up the chamber like day. Mordred deflected it with his blade, and the blast scorched the altar. Makkari zipped in, a red and silver blur, snatching at the Darkhold, but Mordred's spell sent him crashing into Quasar, who caught him with a glowing net. Iron Man's repulsors blazed, nanite-laced beams slicing through the air. "Let's clip this guy's wings," Tony shouted, dodging a swarm of inky tendrils from the Darkhold. Vision phased through the altar, aiming to disrupt Mordred's focus, but a pulse of dark energy forced him to become solid, his body sparking. Captain Universe leapt forward, shield raised, cosmic power clashing with Mordred's blade in a shower of sparks. "Stand down, Mordred," Steve said, but the mystic laughed, summoning a chthonic golem, a towering beast of shadow and bone that shook the chamber with its roar. Quasar's bands flared, weaving a cage of light around the golem, but it smashed through, claws raking at Namora. She grappled it, muscles straining, while Thunderstrike pounded its skull and cracks spread like lightning. Vision and Iron Man turned on the Darkhold, Tony's nanites swarming its pages, burning them to ash. "Eat tech, damn book," Tony growled. Vision's solar gem blazed, searing the Darkhold's core, its screams echoing as pages disintegrated. Mordred howled. His power was faltering. Thunderstrike spun his hammer, its Asgardian tech tearing open a portal to the outer dark. A jagged void of spires and screams rolled by the Hay-Muvor kings beyond the universe itself. "Back to the shadows," Steve shouted, shoving Mordred towards the rift. Makkari sped in, kicking Mordred's legs out from under him, and Namora's final push sent Mordred tumbling through, his screams fading as the portal snapped shut. The Darkhold crumbled, its ashes scattering, and the chamber stilled. Arthur stood silent, Excalibur heavy in his hand. The Round Table had won, but Arthur's heart bore a new scar. The sanctum sighed, its walls solid once more, and for now, Mordred was no longer a threat, and Earth K was safe once more. Which brings us to the epilogue. The Round Table's headquarters orbited Earth K. its windows framing a planet below reborn from chaos. In the large, round central chamber, stars burned cold beyond the viewport, their light casting long shadows against the round table at the heart of the room. King Arthur stood alone, his silhouette framed against the cosmos, Excalibur resting in its scabbard, its glow dimmed. His face was a mask of resolve, but his eyes betrayed him, haunted, heavy with the weight of Mordred's face, his son's burning gaze, as he tumbled into the outer dark. That final battle of Camelot centuries ago was still breaking Arthur. Seeing Mordred again, twisted by the Darkhold, had cut deeper than any blade ever could. Arthur, Namora's voice came, soft but firm, her footsteps echoing as she entered the empty room. Her blonde hair caught the starlight, and her ocean blue eyes held a quiet strength as she searched Arthur's face. She stopped close, her hand hovering near his arm but not quite touching it. You've been up here all night, she said. Talk to me. He turned, his voice steady but low, each word carved with care. The burden of a king is to bear what others cannot. My son, Mordred, his hatred is a wound that does not heal. Arthur paused, staring at the planet below. Merlin led him to darkness once, and today I saw that darkness consuming him. Namora stepped closer, her presence like a tide pulling him back. You didn't fight him. You let us carry that weight for you. That's strength, not failure. Her gaze softened, urging him to listen. You're not alone anymore. We're your round table now. Arthur met her eyes, a flicker of warmth breaking through his grief. He placed a hand over hers, brief but firm, then looked to the stars. The outer dark holds him now, but I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of him. Namora nodded, standing tall beside him. The station hummed softly. The stars watched in silence as the Round Table's day ends not with celebration, but with a heavy heart. And that was it for that game session. We enjoyed playing this one. We hope that you enjoyed hearing about it. If so, as always, smash like, make sure you're subscribed, and leave us a comment. And from all of us here at the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth, we hope you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.